Okay, good.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Love Artemis Podcast. We are your co-hosts, Raffaellina, Merlino, and Becky Rynkiewicz, and we are a Philly-based international real estate company that is on a mission to educate, inspire, and serve in all things real estate.
Yep.
Hey Raf, how you doing?
I'm awesome, Beck. How are you?
I'm good. We're giggling right now because we literally were just recording about almost 10 minutes of the podcast and we realized we were not recording it. And we were talking about how tired we were today, and clearly we really are that tired because we forgot to hit record.
Oh my God. Yeah. So we basically, to recap what we were talking about the last 15 minutes, Becky and I have both been on vacation.
Yes.
And we haven't seen each other. Wait, is it 2 weeks? No. It's 2 weeks.
It's been almost 2 weeks, I think. Yeah.
So we've seen each other every single day since we started the company, literally. Even on the weekends, we see each other because we were like either had like a team outing or we're recording our podcast. And then haven't done any of that in 2 weeks just because of vacation. And we're talking about how tired we are post vacation. And I'm like, it's hitting me today. Like I'm feeling like you said, Beck, like you were like, I needed that extra 10 minutes of sleep. And like, it wasn't even like, you're like, it's not enough. Like, I was like, I could actually probably sleep till noon today, which is has not happened since obviously.
Totally. Yes. Since you had the baby, right? Like my eyelids are like heavy. I'm like on my second glass of iced coffee and I'm just like, it's 11:15 and I'm just like, what the heck? Like we both just got back from vacation and normally like back in the younger days, like when we were like in high school, you know, you come back and you're recharged and you're refreshed, and it's like very different when you have a company that you're running and that there's a lot of responsibility on you and you have a lot of things going on and there's employees that rely on you and partners that rely on you. And then you also have a family and it's just very different. So we're trying to balance and navigate through this new life.
It is. It's crazy. So I was actually down the Jersey Shore and bringing a baby to a beach is not relaxing. So Avia, it was her first time at the beach. We were so excited. We got her little like sand pails and you know, she was playing with like my nieces and my sister-in-laws are all amazing. Everyone's so helpful. Thank God.
That's so great.
And like, we all have we really do share such a beautiful bond. Like even as in-laws, we're very close. So like, it's nice to be that way. Cause then you feel like, you know, everyone's there to help.
Yeah.
But literally, so we would go on the beach, they would be on the beach, you know, everyone's on the beach by 9. So I'm staying back with the baby cause that's her first nap. And so by the time we get her on the beach, it's like 11 o'clock because she has to eat, whatever. So now I'm like getting down to the beach. Everyone's already there. I'm like, husband, like enjoy the time with your family. Like I got the baby and I get down there and I'm like wiped. I'm already tired. It's 11 o'clock. We get down to the beach and like you're spending 2 hours with her on the beach. It's not like I'm like laying out. I'm like, oh yeah, let me lounge in the sun. Like,
let me spray my SPF 4 on and get a nice bronze here.
None of that. I'm literally covered in sand because I'm like crawling around with her, like, you know, trying to convince her not to eat the sand. And she's so funny because she's at that age now where she really understands. So like she actually wants what she wants. Like if she sees something and she wants it, it's like, she's like, you're not going to tell me no, right?
That's right. Future boss baby in the making. Right? She already is a boss baby.
Exactly. By the time we get back, unpack, get her fed, and it's like, it's now 4 o'clock. And you're like, okay, so the whole day has gone by. I haven't stopped. And the whole time the phone is going off. It's going off. It's going off. So I'm stepping away. I'm like, okay, someone take the baby. And so there's never this moment where you're getting that relief or like that mental relaxation. And so even as much as my husband will say, I'll take the baby, well, I'm like, oh, perfect. This is a time to catch up on emails. Like, so I am so grateful, first off, because I can't believe how much we have gotten done in the last 2 weeks with you being on and me being on. At times our vacations overlapped, which we'll never do again, but
no, wasn't planned. We had these planned well before we started the company, like last year. So we'll never do that again. Unless we're together on vacation.
Yeah. And we both picked up for each other. Like I was so grateful that my clients could just call you and they just felt like they were talking to me. And we always say that. Or our clients could call each other.
Yeah. Well, and they don't even know who they're talking to because we sound like exactly alike.
Seriously. So it's like insane because I'm like, yesterday it hit me like I actually finally I was home and I took 20 minutes to myself. Anthony took the baby because, you know, I'm like, okay, I can actually, and I felt that moment of like, you know, me, like I just 10 minutes with God to just figure out where I was emotionally and mentally. And I was like, wow, like busyness is really the opposite of productivity. Like that idea that, oh, the more I'm doing, the faster I'm going, the more I'm getting done is exhausting. Like I almost forgot how like inefficient and ineffective that habit was. And like, of course it happened unintentionally because I'm on vacation for the first time on the beach with the baby. So who, you know, we don't know what to expect. And also we're a new team, right? So like things are changing, and like although we have the leverage, we don't, our systems aren't proven and tried yet. So like we learned a lot through this process, so I'm grateful for it. But it was tough. Like it was really like I don't feel recharged from this vacation, but I'm grateful for it because I know what we need, you know. So, and you in San Diego, which sounded like such an amazing trip.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a 11-month-old on the beach, so it was definitely a different experience.
But still, her if you ever want to go to the beach with her, Becky. She's
okay, great. I'm gonna be like, here, Raph, yeah, I'm done. I cannot ever do what you do. I get it. Yeah. So it was definitely a different dynamic because I went out there to celebrate a girlfriend of mine. Had an event planned for her husband, and so it was a very, very regimented, very strict schedule, very strict timeline. So we were like always go, like different outfit changes, different locations, entertaining people. So it was just like our life, like just put onto the West Coast and like on a different time zone, and like even more stuff packed on because like you said, you know, I'm like trying to go to wine country in Temecula, which is fabulous, but I'm sitting at lunch, like, you know, my phone's going off. I'm like anxious because I'm like, I need to get back to my laptop so I can write an offer, or like, you know, get some comps together for a seller, or, you know, look on, you guys were putting the meeting minutes together. And so like, you know, getting that summary, looking at it, seeing if there were any action items I needed to take. So it was definitely, I wasn't able to disconnect, which a lot of people do on vacation. And, you know, I came back thinking like, oh my God, I need a vacation from the vacation because I have a whole list of things that I need to do that I wasn't able to do while I was there that I need to tackle on top of all the new stuff. Right. So it's, yeah, that's why my eyelids are a little heavy today, because I'm just like, the time change is catching up to me coming back to the East Coast, and then just like the whole list of stuff.
Yeah. It's insane. I will say though, like what I think that the biggest takeaway that I have, and I was thinking about it this morning when I was doing like my morning like gratitude and just praying and reading my Bible, I was thinking about how blessed we are to be able to share the fruits of our labor. So like, although it was really hard, we had 5 settlements this week. We had like, we're negotiating a few $1 million worth of real estate right now. We have multiple buyers, and it's so exciting to see the action of our efforts. And although it's not this like well-oiled machine yet, there's that we got a taste of. I was still down the shore. You were still in San Diego.
Correct. So yes.
It was still also like, wow, how amazing is it that we can go on vacation? And I said to my husband at one point, he looked at me, he goes, at one point my husband's like, I'm like, am I disconnected from the family? Like, do you feel like I'm just working too much? He goes, no, he goes, I think you're just trying to balance. And it's almost like what Brian Walters, one of our leaders, says. He goes, don't apologize for, hey, if you have to be on vacation all day on the beach with your daughter and emails have to get answered at 11 o'clock at night, that's what it is, you know? So although it's difficult, it's the fact that we have the tenacity and the courage to still do it. Yeah. I think that, you know, and he looked at me, he goes, you just have to do what you have to do. When my husband said that, I was like, he's right. Like, you know what? This is what this calls for. Cause I wasn't really upset that I had to work. Like I actually really enjoyed it.
And that's how we know we're doing it. Like it's so perfect and aligned. Cause exactly. I was not upset that I had to work. I was actually excited to get to work to contribute and help you guys out. So,
but then I felt guilt when I not not connecting with the baby? Am I not giving my family my undivided attention? Am I not giving my husband? And that's what starts to set in. So it's this idea of, well, am I being selfish? And you start to, starts to happen is like, oh my gosh, like then I feel guilty that like I put everything on you guys. And I'm like, oh, Becky just got back, this poor girl. Like, and then you're on vacation. I'm trying so hard not to like message you, but then I'm like, I'm sorry, Beck, I gotta talk to you right now.
I know. I felt the same way about you. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, I'm going to try to do as much as I can without having to talk to her. Cause I know how, like, you just want to get away, but like, you know how it is. So I'm like, I didn't want to bother you, but
it's hard, but we have a new agent signing on. So like in terms of leverage, so if you ever read Millionaire Real Estate Agent, for those of you who might be a realtor, Gary Keller talks about listings, leads, and leverage. So like listings are important because obviously it's your inventory and you produce leads from that. And then having a lead source, so whether that's lead generating, is always really, really important, but then leverage. Like there is no way the two of us could have ever been able to step away if we didn't have Nino as our person, where we were literally like, Nino, can you run and do this, and can you do this, and can you call this client? And she was there. And this is why it's important when hiring, and Beck, maybe you can talk more about this, but when you're hiring, you don't hire for talent, right? Like you can always teach that, but you hire for culture and for attitude, right?
Attitude, 100%. 100. You can always, as long as they're trainable, which most people are, and if they have the attitude, the positive attitude, the optimistic attitude, and they're willing to learn, you can teach them anything. So don't hire for skill. You hire for their attitude and their personality, and because anyone can be molded into the role that you want them to be in.
Yeah.
Really.
Always train them on certain things. And actually a really great resource for anyone who's looking to hire an admin is the Soprani consulting team. So we'll attach a link to this video, but Lindsay Soprani's team is actually the #1 recruiting real estate recruiting company, I think in the world, if I'm not mistaken. But so if you're not, I get very emotionally attached. Like I'll meet someone, I'm like, oh, we're similar. Like you're the perfect hire. And I'm not. It's not my skill sets. Lindsay she focuses in on what is like, are you the right fit? And it is important to have the right people on your team. I mean, partners is a totally different situation. Like I can't imagine being in a partnership with anyone that wasn't the way that Becky and I are. We have so much trust. I mean, I don't even think, for me, it's just like, it's what's hers is mine and what's mine is hers.
Yeah. She's like just an extension of me. She's like my arm or my limb, like in the Bible,
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
my rib.
The Adam and Eve of real
Yes.
It would be I was trying to think of, never mind, forget. I was like, what's a female name for Adam? But okay, forget. Anyway, so
Adama.
Adama, there we go, perfect. So almost, I feel abundantly, as tired as I am right now, and I just feel abundantly grateful for the lessons that I learned on vacation, that, we do need certain things that we have to just automate and put in place. And these things are happening, right? It's just through learning, and we can take a vacation. We are entitled to time away, and at some point we have to be able to disconnect, because it's not, I mean, at least for me, I'm not able to do it halfway. When I'm working, I need to be all in. When I'm with my family, I need to be all in. And I think by like the second day, I finally started to catch that habit where I'm like, okay, cool. I'm only going to check emails from 9 to 11. And then I'm only going to be on the beach from 11 to 1. And then I'm only going to be, and then finally it started to kind of work. I'm like, all right, cool. This is that habit of, time blocking, right? Which is something we've been trying to master. And I think it's definitely been a bit of a challenge, but.
Yeah. But I mean, I think this is a good segue leading into, I want to give a great book recommendation, because I just started a mental toughness challenge called 75 Hard, which anyone that follows us on social and has been following me, I have done 75 Hard. Actually, right around this time last year, I completed it. And I decided to do it again for the second time. Yesterday was my first day, but so I'll talk a little bit about that. Coming back from vacation, I like exactly what Raph said. Like even though I wasn't like, I didn't feel like refreshed and recharged, I came back with a renewed sense of like, okay, I can't wait to like get our systems in place and get, have the well-oiled machine, implemented. And so the next time I go on vacation, it's even a better experience.
Yeah.
And so I came back so motivated to do that. And I felt like I needed a mental toughness challenge to like reset my mind and have another, just get more in tune with like systems and routines and that, right? And 75 Hard is like the best thing for that. And 75 Hard, it was created by Andy Frisella, who is a motivational speaker, author. He created the First Form supplement company, and and the challenge, it's for 75 days, and during this challenge, every day you have to complete a list of tasks. One of them is you have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. The second thing is you have to drink a gallon of water. Third, you have to, no alcohol at all can be consumed. Fourth, you have to do a daily progress pic. So whether you're like in, underwear or like a bikini, whatever, just take a daily progress pic. And then lastly, you have to complete 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes each. One of the workouts has to be outside, and they can't be back to back. So you can't go from like in the gym lifting and then go for a run right after outside. You have to, spread them out, and both of them can be outside, but at least one of them has to be. And then I forgot to mention, you have to follow some sort of diet. So I started yesterday, and the book I'm reading, which I thought was very appropriate for what we were just talking about, is called Atomic Habits. It's actually the second time I've read this book, and it talks about how no one's going to have like a massive transformation like overnight. It's the 1% rule, which is if you do one thing differently, or you choose to improve in one area just a little tiny bit every single day. So like, hey, we're not perfect with time blocking or perfect with lead genning every day from 10 to 12 or 9 to 11. But if we even lead gen for 15 minutes, 3 days a week, it's better than what we were doing. And the results from that compound over time.
Yep.
And then, so a year from now, oh my God, I can't even wait to see where we're going to be a year from now. It's so exciting. Like I'm loving the journey, and I'm really learning to enjoy the process. But it's definitely exciting to think about where we're going to be. So that's a great book. I strongly suggest reading it, because I read my first 10 pages again last night for the second time around, and it was wonderful. And I feel so good to be on the journey. And my last day will be September 29th. And I can't wait to share it with everyone, how far I've come and the things that I've achieved.
I think Nino and I are going to start Monday. So it's going to be,
we'll be doing it together. Exactly. I can't wait.
We almost have to at this point, because then it's like, okay, like it'll help, keep everyone.
Having an accountability partner, I mean, in everything in life, like business, your personal life, a spouse, a challenge like this, because even though it's not designed to like help with weight loss or losing inches off your body, it's a great byproduct of it, because you are working out twice a day. Right. So I don't set out, I'm not like, oh, I got to lose 15 pounds, which I would like to. I know I'm probably going to, because of just just by working out twice a day. So it's going to be exciting.
I know. I love it.
Yeah.
I think the small habits, like even we were just talking, like Becky, I'll always say, maybe we will, or like maybe, or if, or, and she's like, when, say the word when we do, and we will do it. So like even these like small habits of like changing vocabulary, where it's like, you know, even when I was down the shore this weekend, I've always never really understood the concept of having a shore house, because I'm kind of like, well, why would you go to the same place every summer? And it doesn't really make sense. Like I wasn't raised going down the shore. My parents worked every weekend. They owned restaurants, so we didn't really have that luxury. And when we went down the shore, it was for the day. We're like, okay, great. Like once a month that we actually like did like a family thing was, you know, when they could
Right.
get away from work. And I came across somebody who said to me that like, it's not about the shore house. It's not about the house. It's not about spending your summers there. It's about how it will gather everybody. So it's like this intention of everyone will come. Like if you call and you're like, hey, come over for dinner, as opposed to, hey, let's grab a weekend down the shore.
Yeah. People are definitely going to go to that.
Exactly. And so
especially when we're having oceanfront houses in Ocean City. Right
so,
next to each other. We're going to have the can going from one balcony to the other one.
I love that. Well,
yeah, speaking into it.
Exactly. And so it's interesting, because I was like, while I was kind of like, you know, I'm like looking and going down there, I started to really think about owning a beach house and what the probability of that, and like what if we had one with like what did it needed to happen in order to get there. And I started to really see that I'm like, wow, this is like really realistic. Like this could happen now. And so
yeah,
it's interesting because, you know, as you start to open your eyes to your potential and those small habits of thinking, even just a small habit of thinking like, oh, I can do something, right? And just that small shift has changed so much for me, because it's like, you know, I took a buyer out last night. We were looking at, you know, $1.5 million homes. And I would have never in my mind thought that that was something I deserved. I've always come from a place of scarcity. It's what I come from.
Yeah, same here.
Is that you have to suffer and you have to sacrifice for everything you have. Like it's not this abundance and like this receiving of blessing kind of a mindset. And so your subconscious mind plays into these things, right? So as I'm thinking about these things more, I'm walking through this house and I'm like doing the math for the client, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, wait a second, like I could be my client, right? And so, and I share that not because I'm like, oh, let me tell you my goals but I share that because it's not about whether or not you can or you can't. It's your mindset. So if you say you can't, you can't. If you say you can, you can. And I never understood that that quote. And I don't know, I can't quote who it is, but who's, you know, it's at the end of the day, it's no matter what your beliefs are. And like Becky said, like doing the 75 hard isn't about the 15 pounds. It's not about the losing. Okay, I'm just doing it it's about after that, what changes for Becky? What in your mind is going to change? What in your habits are going to change, you know? And so I'm excited for you, Beck. I think it's going to be.
I'm excited for you. You're going to be doing it for the first time. I know it's to come. I know it's really hard. Like yesterday was day one. I mean, we had a crazy busy day yesterday, and I got home from showing houses in Bluebell, and it was 8:45, and I pull in, or no, it was 7:45. I pull into my house. I'm exhausted. And I'm like, I still have to do my second workout outside. So my mom just moved in with me. So I grabbed my mom, we grabbed my dog, and so I'm like helping her get active too, because she's 63 and she's like, all right. So, you know, we weren't going like on a big power walk, but we were walking, you know, at a nice pace, and she had to stop halfway through. So I dropped her off back at home, and then I continued for the rest of the 45 minutes. But it was great to get her out, and I'm going to incorporate that into my outdoor walk at night. So she'll benefit from it. And trust me, I didn't want, I'm like, I would much rather just like have a glass of unsweetened iced tea and just like relax than like, you know, sit outside and, you know, read my book outside while it was still daylight. But I'm like, nope, I have to do this. So doing the stuff that you don't want to do, it builds character. It forces you to be more, just have more discipline. And eating the frog, like doing the stuff that you don't want to do most first, and just doing it. And like, you then realize you can do anything.
Yeah.
And that's what it really teaches you. And it's so cool. Cause like, I just know how effective it was for me the first time. So I am so excited for you.
I do. I'm gonna try and get my husband to do it with me. He's
yes. Oh my God. Get Anthony to do it. He'll love it too.
Yeah. I have to just think of like I'm thinking like 45 minutes in the morning with the baby. I can probably do it with her. And then once, you know, he normally puts her down for bed at night. So then after that, I can probably like, while he's doing that, I can go and like run up and down the art museum stairs. And it's the gym.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be in a gym. Both workouts can be outside. Like you could do like, go to the roof deck and do yoga outside on the roof deck, or you could walk with the baby or jog with the stroller and the puppy, go to the art museum steps, or you could go into a gym and do your second workout. It really, like, I will ride my horse, because that's considered a workout. Like that's definitely longer than 45 minutes. So, I mean, you can do more. Yeah. So that's one of my activities. And then I usually will either do the gym or do an outside workout. So
this is awesome. And it is what's amazing. I think what's difficult for me is that taking the time for myself, because I'm always like, oh, I can make any excuse to get work done during that time, or dedicated to the baby or to Anthony or like to anybody else. But then it's taking that time for yourself to take care of yourself. That's, it's a challenge. It's not, that's not something that comes naturally for me. I'm not naturally someone can easily be like, oh, I'm taking an hour to myself. And normally my husband convince me I'm fine, don't worry about me and the baby. And then I'll actually do it. But like, it's so that I'm hoping to change that mindset for myself of putting my needs and health first. So
good. I'm so happy.
I'm so excited.
Good.
This was an awesome talk with you, Beck.
Great.
If you like what you heard here today, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram at Live Love Artemis. Check out our website, liveloveartemis.com. We're also on Facebook, and we're launching this week, actually. I think you guys, for those of you who've been following those neighborhood restaurant videos, which came out awesome. We can't wait to share that. So
I'm so excited.
Yeah. And as always, be sure to give fully, live selflessly, and to serve authentically. Thank you guys.
We'll see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.